ceasefire. Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Massachusetts, Mrs. Tsongas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Jewell, for testifying before the committee today. And congratulations on your confirmation as our country's 51st Secretary of the Interior. We may have had 51, but you are only the second woman, so it's great to see you in this role. And as you've heard here today from the questions of my colleagues, it's quite a portfolio of issues that you are charged with overseeing, and I appreciate the diversity of experiences that you are bringing to your role at the department. As you well know, sequestration is having a very serious impact on our national parks, not something we've talked about too much here today. My district is the third in Massachusetts, the third of Massachusetts, is home to two national parks. In my hometown of Lowell, the Lowell National Historical Park was the first urban national park of its kind in the United States, commemorating the catalytic role the city played in spawning our country's industrial revolution. But in so doing, it has been instrumental in preserving and protecting the historic landscape of the city while also acting as a partner in the city's ongoing revitalization. It's been a real model across the country. Our second park is Minuteman National Historical Park in Concord, where visitors from around the globe see firsthand where the first shot heard round the world was fired and where the American Revolution began. It is a simple New England landscape that belies yet underscores the enormity of those nascent steps towards democracy. It's a remarkable place, very quiet, but very impactful. My district is also home to 3 national wildlife refuges, all of which protect essential wildlife habitats and provide access to beautiful outdoor recreational spaces, which REI has played a role in allowing people to experience. And I have to say I have a daughter-in-law who's worked at REI on and off over the years. But when I talk with leaders of our national parks and wildlife refuges, they tell me the very same thing. Sequestration is having a very serious impact on their operations and must be resolved. They are experiencing staffing shortages, cutting back on facility hours, and will be limiting seasonal programming at a time of year when many Americans seek out our parks and seek to take advantage of them. This message is most certainly not unique to my district. In fact, the Democrats on this committee, led by our former ranking member from Massachusetts, Ed Markey, compiled a report on the impacts of sequestration on the national parks system. This report specifically includes the many challenges facing the Lowell National Historical Park, as well as 22 other representative parks, and I have the report right here. So my question is, could you speak a little on, as you've been there just this very short time, on how severely sequestration, you've seen it undermine the mission of the National Park Service as well as the Department of Interior as a whole, near term, but going forward, what you see as potentially happening down the road should we not resolve it?
Thank you for the question. As I said in my opening statement, you would never run a business the way sequestration is forcing us to run our agencies. You would never make across-the-board cuts in every category, whether it is in your firefighting line or your national park line, which is driving economic behavior in all of the areas which enjoy these natural resources. So I would say this, that across the Department of Interior, people are doing everything they can to minimize the impact of sequestration. They are not trying to highlight it, they are trying to address it. They are leveraging volunteer resources, they're pulling people off maintenance projects where they can to address the visitor experience, but there is an impact. If this persists or if it gets worse, you take the things that you all care about, whether it's permitting on oil and gas wells or it is taking care of our national parks, and all of them will be impacted. So it is very significant. Yet I'm proud of my colleagues for working hard to try and minimize the impact on the visitor experience, and I think they're doing as good a job as they can with the limited resources that they have.
Well, I know I serve on the Armed Services Committee, where we've also heard from our bases where it's come down to such things as, towards the end of the fiscal year, not picking up the garbage. So I am sure you are confronting those kinds of most basic aspects as you try to find ways to move forward. I, for one, think we have to have a balanced approach that resolves this once and for all. It can't just be about cuts. We know we have ways to save money, but we have to bring revenue to the table and then engage in a thoughtful process as to how to go forward to protect our national parks and to protect everything we all care about. Thank you, and I yield back.
Thank you. Can I just
Okay.
say one thing? It's been in the
Briefly.
newspaper. We are not picking up garbage in a number of the parks around Washington, D.C., in part to have people pick up their own garbage and try and save money.
Time of the gentlelady has expired. The gentlelady from Wyoming.